What types of bad parenting do kids not recover from? I was 12 when Dad left me and my little sister at his mother's house. He was leaving to Iraq for 10 months, and she was an alcoholic who beat us. The worst part was how just 2 weeks ago, he fought tooth and nail to get custody and take us from Mom. The first week was hell. Grandma would pass out on the couch by 3 p.m. and we'd have to fend for ourselves. Tommy had type 1 diabetes and needed his insulin at 6 p.m., but Grandma would be too drunk to remember. I tried to help, but I was just a kid and didn't really know what I was doing. Tommy started getting sick more often. He'd throw up and feel dizzy, but Grandma would just tell him to stop being dramatic. We started showing up to school looking like garbage. Our clothes were dirty, and we were always hungry because Grandma spent her money on alcohol instead of groceries. I made excuses for her when teachers asked questions about our appearance. The real trouble began when the neighbors started noticing. They'd see us outside at weird hours looking for food in their garbage cans. I remember knocking on one of their doors in the middle of the night asking if they had any cold leftovers they weren't planning to eat. The woman looked so sad when she heard me. "Where's your grandmother, sweetie?" she asked me. "She's sleeping. She sleeps a lot because she works so much," I said. I was getting good at lying. The neighbor woman started leaving sandwiches on our porch. Other neighbors did too. And before I knew it, she called Child Protective Services for us. A woman named Caitlin came to investigate. She seemed nice at first and asked us a bunch of questions about Grandma. I wanted to tell her everything, but I was terrified of what Dad would do if he found out we snitched. "Is your grandmother taking good care of you?" Caitlin asked. I looked at Tommy, who was pale and shaky from missing his morning insulin. "Yeah, she takes good care of us," I lied. But Caitlin could see we were malnourished and dirty. She took notes and said she'd be back to check on us. I thought maybe things would finally change, but then Dad came home on emergency leave because Caitlin had contacted him. He showed up in his full combat uniform looking all official and intimidating. Caitlin was there waiting to talk to him, and I could tell she was nervous. "Sir, I've received some concerning reports about the children's care," she started. Dad cut her off immediately. "Ma'am, with all due respect, I've served 3 tours in Iraq defending this country. I think I know how to choose appropriate care for my children. My mother raised me and I turned out just fine." Caitlin shifted uncomfortably. "I understand your service, sir, but the neighbors have reported signs of neglect. Those neighbors are just anti-military liberals who don't like having a veteran's family in their neighborhood," Dad said. His voice was getting louder and more aggressive. "They're harassing my family while I'm overseas protecting their freedom." Caitlin started backing down. She mentioned something about her own son being deployed and how hard it was for military families. Dad nodded like they were best friends now. "My mother is family. She knows these kids better than some stranger neighbors," Dad said. "I trust her completely, and frankly, I'm offended that people are trying to attack a veteran's family." Caitlin apologized and said she wouldn't pursue it further. She left and Dad went back to Iraq the next day. Before he left, he pulled me aside. "If you ever tell lies about Grandma again, you'll regret it," he said. "Grandma made me tough, and she'll make you tough too. Stop being weak." Things got so much worse after that. Grandma's drinking increased, and she started laying hands on us when we asked for food or reminded her about Tommy's insulin. The neighbors still tried to help, but they felt powerless since CPS had dismissed their concerns. Tommy was getting sicker and sicker. Then the worst thing happened. Dad went on another deployment, and Grandma forgot Tommy's insulin for 3 straight days. I watched my little brother deteriorate hour by hour. He was throwing up constantly and could barely stay awake. His breathing got really weird and shallow. "Tommy, you need to stay with me," I kept saying, but he was slipping in and out of consciousness. I finally called 911 when he wouldn't wake up at all. The paramedics rushed him to the hospital, and the doctors said he was in something called diabetic ketoacidosis. They said he almost died. A different social worker named Maria came to the hospital. She looked at Tommy's medical records and saw the pattern of missed insulin doses and neglect, and she didn't care about Dad's military service or Grandma being family. "This is medical neglect and it's life-threatening," she told me. "I'm filing an emergency petition with a judge today." She bypassed the local CPS office completely and went straight to family court. And before I even realized it, our dad had been contacted, and he was once again on a plane home, ready to take me back. Full story on channel linked below.